So, Keith Parsons, can you tell us how Hattrick got set up in the first place?
Hattrick was set up in 2005, which was in a deal between the FA and New Deal for Communities to work exclusively and intensively in the West End of Newcastle. That funding was for 3 years, hence the name Hattrick. We then got money from the Football Foundation, which saw us through another 3 years, but we then had a situation where we had to become sustainable. This was done through contracts with schools, through grant funding, and through diversifying our output into different programs, different user groups, and also including the young people. So one thing that we've done really well is that people have progressed from being a player at Hattrick to become a volunteer to then become a casual member of staff, whether we get paid to run sessions, and 5 members of the team are now full-time members of staff. Um, Something this all adds towards is our cumulative target, which we've got to hit over the year. So we have an amount of money which we've got to work towards, and this is done by all members of the team. So Emma and myself, who manage the project, will go for the bigger funding pots, but all of the other members of the team have to contribute, and this adds towards the overall total, which keeps us sustainable as an organisation.
Is that it behind you, Keith, the target?
That is the target behind us currently, yes.
Okay, thanks, bye.
So sustainability, the sustainability of our Skills project and the sustainability of Hattrick itself have a lot of common themes. Probably the most common theme that we've got is that we develop players, we develop coaches from first meeting them at school as a player or a community setting as a player. We then help them to get qualified and become volunteers and enter our volunteer pathway that we've had established for a few years. They then go on to potentially become casual staff, and then if we've got any full-time vacancies and they're really outstanding, they perhaps get a full-time job with Hattrick.
An example of that is obviously when I started in 2009, I was Women and Girls Football Development Officer and created WAGs. You've already met Kate and Becky. When I first was at Hattrick, I was the only female member of staff, and a lot of the volunteers were males. So I basically had to build a female workforce who can go out in the community and inspire the younger generation to take part in football. So without them, that wouldn't have happened. It was one of the main key areas. And you can see now from Michael, we'll have a 40-60 split of volunteers across Hattrick. We also, when I first started, we were not engaging women and girls at all. We were below target. And that is now 42% of women and girls that we engage across the whole project, which is something that we kind of always want to achieve and keep building on, which really helps us. We've developed quality programs, which has increased our reputation to funders. Also schools, like Keith mentioned before, we moved from football into multisport, which has made us create quite creative and innovative programs, which schools actually now pay us for delivery.
I think something to add to that is also we use local people as local role models in their community. So one of our coaches went to a local school around the corner. The school pay for him to go in every day of the week. He's inspiring younger people from his community who know him, know his reputation, which gives them aspirations of their own. And because we've now been going for over 10 years, the young people who we first met 5, 6, 7 years ago are now starting to get to an age where they can volunteer, they can go to college, they can do 16 plus courses, and that just feeds back into the whole Hattrick system. With them then leading sessions on their estates for the next generation of young people.
We also now, Keith and I are managers, we have the wonderful task of funding. So we have a funding strategy in place where Keith and I spend many a day in this office, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Doing funding bids. And it's really, really important that all staff contribute to that as well. So we'll identify funding pots that we can all go for. Keith and I might go for the bigger ones. The development coaches, which you've met a few of them today, they'll do the smaller ones. And then, like how Michael mentioned, the volunteers even do youth-led. So it's across the whole organisation. It's kind of like in their ethos that we need to kind of bring money in to make it sustainable. The last thing that we do as well is obviously We charge the participants only £1, but obviously that helps towards our income and our target that we have to hit. Anything else?
No.
Okay, bye.